Hey everybody, good afternoon. This is Derek from PSP Showcase. I have a segment today. You know it, it's getting to know them. I've got another special player from our PSP Showcase team. Today we're going to be introducing you to a kid named Luke Klooster. Let me bring Luke in here. Here he's coming on.
What's going on, Coach?
Hey, there he is. Thanks for being here, Luke.
Yeah, of course.
So this is Luke Klooster, PSP Showcase number 43. Bats right, throws right. This is one of my favorite positions to talk about. This is our catcher. Not only does he catch, though, he pitches and plays outfield, and he can play infield. He's kind of does everything, but he is our catcher. And before I start letting him talk a little bit about himself, let me just tell you how special this player is. So this is Luke's first year of actually the full year of playing for me. He picked up and played in a few games for me last year because I was shorthanded on catching. And I've had the pleasure of training Luke and working with him in catching for the last few years. And he is in the top crop of catchers I've ever worked with. He's going places. He's a special player. But I'll talk more about him as we go along here. I don't want his head to blow up in the screen real quick. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your date of birth, place of birth, and where you live, what school you go to. I forgot to say, Luke is our youngest player. Luke is in 8th grade. He'll be going into 9th grade. He's in a high school showcase program and just tearing it up already. But he's in 8th grade. So tell us a little bit about date of birth, place of birth, and the school you go to and where you're going to high school.
Yeah, so I was born on December 5th of 2004. I was born and raised in Duval, Washington, just about 15 minutes away from Redmond. I currently go to Tolt Middle School in Carnation, and I will be attending O'Day High School as of next year.
O'Day. And if you don't know about O'Day, you better check out O'Day. O'Day's a legit school. And so that's pretty savage that he got into there. So as with every segment, we always blow these guys' nicknames out of the water. Luke's got a lot of them. Now, I call him Booster Rocket. We call him Sleeveless Luke Klooster. And rightfully so. I think in our team meeting the other day, Coach Matt just kind of dropped the bomb on him how many shirts he owns that have sleeves, because this guy's yoked and he's wearing a sweatshirt today. He's staying humble. So
yeah, I got the sweatshirt on.
But normally he'd probably have the sleeveless sweatshirt. But the guy that has many nicknames and likes to go sleeveless, and he should. He's pretty yoked for a young guy. But anyhow, so a little bit about Luke. Like I said, I've worked with Luke before. Luke's pop time hovers around the 2 flat. He has, I mean, at 14U, he was able to hit a sub 2 pop time. So he possesses a cannon. Sits in that 77 to 80 mile an hour range as a pitcher. But we were talking the other day. Can you tell everybody a little bit about some of the training you're doing? Like we're living in some trying times here. So can you share with everyone, like, what some drills you're doing as a catcher? You mentioned something about a football the other day.
Yeah, so I like to use footballs as a weighted ball training. Like, I believe that I've been doing this in the fall for a while now. I think that's really helped my arm, like in terms of its health and strengthening. So I like to do that. And then Coach Derek brought up a really good drill for me to do where I go in a catching squat and then throw to my dad or into a net or wherever out of my squat, because that's like that short transfer and a little bit shorter of an arm position for me. So that way it kind of helps me get the good arm position and angles down for when I'm actually throwing down to second base.
Awesome. And are you able to like get some tee work and do some running and stuff like that?
Yeah, so there's in Duval, it's basically all uphill from downtown. So I'll bike from about 2 miles uphill a few times a day.
Mhm.
And that's really good. I love doing that for my legs, and then I'll get some routes too with throwing the football, so I get that running piece down. And then my dad's working on having he takes carpet, like a carpet mat, and then puts it and goes to from the ceiling of the garage, and I can hit into that. So yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, Luke is an athlete. He's a great football player. What position you play in football?
Running back, wide receiver, and then probably a little bit of DB.
DB. Yep. And so, again, I already kind of started to give you a background on this young player, but Luke is probably the most athletic catcher I've seen in his age group, and the sheer arm strength and athleticism behind the plate, and then you couple that with his ability to hit a baseball, and I mean he hits with power. I mean, we were out at the field just doing some over the line stuff with his teammates, and he's just bashing the ball over the wall like, and we're on an adult sized field, so the kid's got crazy power. He's strong, but then you couple that with wheels for a catcher. You've got a next level guy. So that's awesome. Now, Luke, you mentioned that you're going to be going to O'Day next year.
Mhm.
Tell me what's your favorite subject in school?
Um, I do enjoy a little bit of the aspects of LA, but I'd probably have to go probably into science and like the computer aspects of science or computer engineering, because I just love working with that stuff. Like I built my own computer. I'm getting into working on learning how to get into the ethical hacking type of things, like the legal side where I can actually make money off of it. So I like doing that a lot. And I've helped a lot of my friends build computers and do all that. So that's what I really enjoy doing.
Awesome. So again, if you're a college coach at any level, D1 to D3 community college, and you're looking for a smart catcher and a guy with a high ceiling, you need to look up Luke Klooster. He's going to be going to O'Day next year as a freshman. I'm pretty sure he's going to do some crazy things for O'Day. Just like he competes, I mean, on another planet with guys that are a year or two older than him. So if you don't take that opportunity to look him up, you might lose out. But again, a smart guy, knows how to read hitters, commands his pitching staffs well, just all around, and he's a great teammate. I've been able to play against Luke. My team's played against him, and we didn't like to play against him. So we talked him into coming on to the side where we're gonna do some crazy things here. But so Luke, you mentioned you liked LA a little bit. I gave you guys an assignment to write about a player that you kind of look up to or emulate your game. And you chose Manny Machado. Can you tell us about why you chose Manny Machado?
Yeah, so Manny Machado, like on a hitting standpoint, and fielding really, because I mean multiple Golden Gloves. But I just love how smooth he is and just how simple in everything that he does. Like if anybody ever gets to watch my swing, I like to have it simple, just a little leg kick, just a little step and go like that. I'd love to emulate that from what he does, because I believe that the more you can emulate the swing or do the swing over and over and over again, like the exact same way, then that's going to be a little bit more, how do I say it? You'll be a little bit more successful, because if you can do it over and over again on multiple pitches, and I believe then that's going to help a lot. So I just really love how smooth, simple, and everything that he does. So
It sounds like you just talked about yourself. He's absolutely right. He doesn't overcomplex his swing either. Luke is very simple. He doesn't go down easy. He's not a guy that strikes out a lot. He puts balls in play, sprays the ball to all the fields. I mean, last year I saw him hit a ball when he was picking up for us at the opposite field, just tanked it. I'm like, took an outside pitch and just went with it, and trying to put into my mind, like, this is a kid that's not even in high school yet. So so that's awesome. Manny Machado is a great player to look up to. But now I'm going to flip back to your football side. Tell us why you chose to wear the number 43.
Yeah, so growing up, I've really looked up to Troy Polamalu. the safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Growing up, my dad always just put me on the Steelers. I got to watch him a little bit. My dad would show me all these crazy highlights, and I just loved how smart he was as a player and that he didn't overcomplicate things, as we went back to in the last thing we talked about. But he's like one of my idols that I've looked up to for years. So,
and I gotta love that about my catcher, that he's looking up to Troy Polamalu, because Troy Polamalu is a USC Trojan, and he's been a savage. He was a savage every year he was in the NFL. So I love that. How long have you been wearing that number 43?
Probably about 3 years now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Luke, we talked a little bit about school. Can you share with people out here that are going to see this video, what are some goals you set for yourself, maybe in school, the classroom, in baseball, and in life in general?
Yeah, so for school, I like to try to keep myself at an honest 3.6 to a 3.5-ish. Through high school, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all the work I can to get a 3.5 to 3.6 or even higher if I can in the classroom. And then I will, sorry about that. My dog's going crazy. But and then for baseball goals, I'm just going to try to see I'm trying to get as many offers and stuff as I can, so that way I can bring options for myself, because I like to create options and make it so that way I can have the ultimate choice of what I want to do going forward. So, yeah, that's
awesome. So, tell us what your favorite college baseball team is.
The University of Vanderbilt is where I'm.
Vandy, there you go. So, you can't help but like he likes Super Bowl winning football teams. He likes a Manny Machado is probably a future Hall of Famer, and then Troy Polamalu, definite Hall of Famer, and then Vanderbilt, one of the top baseball programs in the nation. Again, if you're a college coach, you better sneak this guy onto your roster before Vanderbilt does, because he's a special player. So Luke, let's talk about you're one of our younger guys, but there's so many young players, age 10, 11, they're in their last years of Little League, and then they're transitioning 12, 13 and on. And as they prepare for high school baseball, what's some advice you could share with those young players that maybe you struggled with, or some stuff that helped you as you transitioned to where you're at now to becoming a high school baseball player?
Yeah. So coming up, my dad has always told me to make sure it's still fun. So I always tried to make it as fun as I possibly could for myself, because I knew as soon as I thought it was going to be a job for me, like, oh, I have to go to baseball, then I'm not going to want to do it anymore, and I'm just going to lose interest. So even from last year, as Coach Derek has told, that I've been working with him for a while now, and I was flirting with the idea of going to play for him for a year and a half since then, and I made a goal for myself to compete with myself and have fun and work to play for him. And going through that process, I learned that the competition side of trying to make teams and try to do all these big things, that needs to be fun, or else it just can't happen, because otherwise you're just not going to want to do it.
Absolutely. And again, talking about fun, if you're watching this video, Luke is so genuine when he's talking about having fun, because there were some times you were hitting in the cage, and I cranked up that volume on you. Remember what was the fastest speed you hit at?
You clocked me in at 100 miles an hour multiple times last year.
Yep. So I put him in a cage on 100 miles an hour and made him make adjustments and made him fight and challenge. And he did. He rose up to that. And, I mean, he was routinely just smacking 90 like it was just everyday BP, So speeding the game up for him like that really helped him. Like when he started facing pitchers that were upper 70s, just looked like they were throwing BP to him, Yeah. There was a couple games I know that he wasn't playing for me, that I was watching, that he had a couple of bombs, Like I said, he's got crazy pop, super athletic, and he really does have fun with the game, He keeps it light, and again, I already alluded to this, but He's one of the top catching prospects that I've ever worked with. And so, coaches, if you're watching this, you know, follow him on his Twitter, follow him Instagram, follow his Facebook, follow our team. Come check us out when we're playing in games and tournaments and such, because I guarantee you'll see 43 doing some special things. So thanks, Luke, for being here today and sharing your story and sharing who you are with the PSP Nation and all the folks that see this video. You have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.